Last year, according to the FBI's own official data, Americans over the age of 60 lost $4.885 billion to fraud, reported across 147,000 separate complaints in a single 12-month period. And that number, as staggering as it is almost certainly an undercount because the same FBI report that documented it also found that older victims are significantly less likely to report what happened to them at all out of embarrassment or simply because they believe reporting won't change anything. Behind every one of those numbers is a real person, someone's parent, someone's grandparent, someone who worked their entire life to build the exact savings that a stranger convinced them through patience and manipulation to hand over willingly. My name is Finn, and this is Finn Retires, the channel that exists to make sure the retirement you worked decades to build never quietly disappears into the hands of someone who was never entitled to a single dollar of it. If this is your first time here, please hit that subscribe button right now before we go any further. We've talked before on this channel about the fake IRS phone call scam specifically, but today we're going wider into the 5 categories of financial fraud that the FBI's own data identifies as the biggest threats to retirees in America right now. So subscribe, stay with me, and let's make sure you and everyone you love can recognize every single one of these before they ever have a chance to work. Let's start with the category that costs retirees more money than any other single type of fraud tracked by the FBI. This is investment fraud. And according to the FBI's Internet Crime Complaint Center 2024 Elder Fraud Report, it was responsible for more than $1.8 billion in losses among victims 60 and older, more than any other category by a significant margin. The reason investment fraud has grown so dramatically comes down to one specific factor: the explosive rise of cryptocurrency investment scams. A retiree is contacted, often through social media, a dating app, or even a wrong number text message that turns into an ongoing conversation by someone who seems friendly, patient, and genuinely interested in getting to know them. Over the following weeks, that relationship develops trust. Eventually, the new acquaintance mentions they've been making excellent returns through a specific cryptocurrency trading platform and offers to help the retiree get started with a small amount. The platform itself is entirely fake, often a slickly designed website showing fabricated account balances and impressive-looking gains, all completely fictional. The retiree, seeing what appears to be real growth, is encouraged to invest more, sometimes their entire savings. When they try to withdraw their supposed profits, they're told they need to pay a tax or fee first. And once that payment is made, the platform disappears entirely, along with every dollar the retiree ever put in. The second category has held the top spot for sheer number of complaints for 3 consecutive years. This is tech and customer support fraud, and it exploits something specific. Many retirees simply have less day-to-day familiarity with computers and remote access software. The scam typically begins with a pop-up warning that a virus has been detected, or a phone call claiming to be from a well-known tech company's support department. The caller convinces the retiree to install remote access software, supposedly to fix the problem, but that software gives the scammer live, real-time control over the computer. From there, the scammer often stages a fake screen showing a large, alarming refund or accidental overpayment, then insists the retiree needs to send money back immediately, often through gift cards, wire transfer, or mailing cash. Because the scammer has genuine remote access during the call, the visual proof looks completely real. The third category is one of the most emotionally devastating forms of fraud in the FBI's data, formally categorized as confidence or romance fraud. This scam doesn't rely on urgency or fear. It relies on the slow, patient building of a genuine emotional relationship. A retiree, often someone who has lost a spouse or lacks daily social connection, connects with someone online. The relationship develops gradually and genuinely feels real, with daily messages, phone calls, sometimes video calls using stolen or manipulated footage. Weeks or months in, the other person introduces a financial need, a medical emergency, a stuck shipment requiring customs fees, a business opportunity. Because real trust has developed, the retiree sends money, often repeatedly, genuinely believing they're helping someone they care about, until the relationship disappears entirely. The fourth category is one of the oldest tricks in the fraud playbook, and yet it remains persistently effective. This is the classic grandparent scam. A retiree receives a call, and the voice sounds distressed, claiming to be a grandchild who's been arrested or is stranded and desperately needs money right away, and asks the grandparent not to tell their parents. A second caller often gets on the line, posing as a lawyer, bail bondsman, or police officer, adding official sounding pressure. The FBI has specifically flagged an evolving twist, scammers increasingly demanding payment through mailed cash, or even sending a courier directly to the victim's home to collect money in person. The emotional core of this scam is what makes it so effective. A grandparent, hearing what sounds like their own grandchild in genuine distress, acts from love and instinct, not from careful analysis, and scammers know this better than almost anyone. The fifth category doesn't get as much public attention, but according to the FBI's 2024 data, it cost elder fraud victims hundreds of millions of dollars in a single year. This is business email compromise, a scam that increasingly overlaps with the other four categories. A scammer gains access to, or convincingly spoofs, an email account belonging to someone the retiree trusts, a financial advisor, an attorney, or a family member, and sends instructions to wire money to what appears to be a legitimate account, but is actually controlled by the scammer. Because the email appears to come from someone genuinely familiar and often references real, accurate details about an actual ongoing transaction, the retiree has little reason to suspect anything is wrong before the money is gone. The FBI has found scammers sometimes re-victimize the same retiree with a second scheme once they know that person is already proven willing to send money. Let me walk you through a realistic example. Consider a retiree named Judith, 68 years old, living in Arizona, widowed for 3 years, financially comfortable and generally careful with her money throughout her life. Judith joined an online gardening community and over several months developed an online friendship that gradually became romantic. He explained he was an engineer on an international project, which conveniently explained why they could never meet in person or speak on an unrecorded video call. Several months in, he explained a shipment of specialized equipment had been held at customs, and he needed a relatively modest sum to release it, an amount Judith could comfortably afford and did not hesitate to send, given the genuine trust that had developed. Over the following 2 months, additional requests followed: a medical emergency involving a colleague, a second customs issue, a legal fee. Each request was smaller than the one before it. A pattern fraud investigator's note makes victims less likely to question the pattern as a whole. By the time Judith's daughter noticed unusual activity in her mother's bank statements during a routine visit and asked direct questions, Judith had sent a combined total representing a significant portion of her retirement savings. What ultimately helped Judith was not catching the scam herself, but her daughter's willingness to ask direct, uncomfortable questions, and Judith's willingness to answer them honestly. Judith reported the fraud to the FBI's IC3 and her local police department, and while recovering the funds proved difficult, reporting contributed to a broader pattern. Investigators were already tracking. Here is what I want you to do. First, for investment opportunities, especially cryptocurrency introduced by someone you met online, verify independently through a licensed financial institution before investing a single dollar. Genuine opportunities do not require secrecy or urgency. Second, for tech support issues, never allow remote access to anyone who contacted you first. If you have a genuine issue, contact the company directly using a number from their official website. Third, for online relationships that develop quickly into deep emotional connections without meeting in person, treat any request for money as an immediate red flag. Third, for calls claiming to be a family member in distress, hang up and independently call that family member using a number you already have saved before sending money. Fifth, for any email instructing you to wire money, independently verify by phone using a number you already have on file, particularly if payment instructions have changed. If you or someone you love has already fallen for one of these scams, understand this is not a reflection of intelligence or poor judgment. Every one of these schemes is engineered by professional criminal organizations exploiting universal human traits: trust, love, fear, and the instinct to help someone we care about. Please do not let shame stop you from reporting it or talking about it with the people who love you.